Hey YouTube, I'm here talking about what I would call the STEGO problem. This is not necessarily a problem with STEGO, but it will be a problem with certain dinosaurs that come out later in the game's development cycle. Please do excuse me, because I do not exactly have a script, but I at least have, at the beginning here at least, a few PowerPoint slides, and then I will eventually be showing examples in fights of the issue happening, or issues happening, with in the background as I waffle on about this issue. I also have a cup of tea with me. So for all of you guys, please be aware that this is not exactly your flashy YouTube montage of I soloed a STEGO with a raptor, which everyone then clicks on. This is instead just a discussion about a certain thing. Unfortunately, I am not ex-Jaguar, so I cannot just get away with just doing a 10-minute discussion, saying something that we all probably already knew. Anyways, pointers and enough salt out of the way. I do not hate any of those creators. Dab on the hose. So, let's have a look. The issue with STEGO is, first of all, we can break it up into different sections, and I'm going to be talking about the first section here, which is, of course, its migration zones and its spawn points. In its migration zones, it has access to easy water, easy food, good terrain, lack of good predators. Each of those will be talked about in turn, especially these two, especially this one later on. So what do I mean by easy water? Well, in Swamp, in case you guys have not noticed, this is very, very difficult for dinos to really access a lot of the areas in swamps. There are safe drinking zones around here, around here, around here. There's like one or two around here. But basically meaning is that for a lot of swamp, where a lot of the STEGO food actually spawns, is either in a field or around here. Right? Which means that they can just drink very, very safely. And they have, easy to do food. So what you will find is that a lot of STEGO players will just spawn in, little Stewie STEGO, runs into swamp, eats, and eventually becomes Big Cow, right? Big Cow is over there. Meanwhile, while Mr. STEGO is doing all of this, over in this corner of the map, northeast, at Fuckboy Lake, the correct scientific definition for this lake here is a fuckboy lake. In fact, the Isle has had many fuckboy lakes in its entirety. During the initial stress test, I predicted that either Highlands or Northeast Plains was going to be the fuckboy lake. I had hope for Highlands. The reason was very, very simple. A lot of herbivores would migrate there, and only a couple would migrate here. Now, pretty much everything migrates here, which is annoying, right? But of course, it's plains. Why is Northeast Plains really, really popular? There are quite a few videos, and I'm going to cover that in a different video, but to break down the simple solutions, one, it's plains, which means visibility, which means if you're just there to deathmatch, you can see the people you're going to kill and just run at them with zero thought at all towards ambushing, positioning, catching people off guard, or doing whatever. It's just, I see you, I'm faster than you, I kill you. Very, very simple. Second of all, a lot of herbivores migrate there. And because of that, whenever you do get herbivores there, the carnivores will come to eat them. However, I have seen Highlands be absolutely full of people without any herbivores there. Why is this? Very, very simple. It is because all of the carnivores will share other carnivores in their diet, which means that if Highlands was just filled with raptors, cerados, and carnos, they could all eat each other. Which means, while little Stegosaurus is growing in swamp, over here, everyone is just absolutely railing each other sideways. And Stegosaurus just gets to grow into the big apex that it is, with absolutely no competition at all, and then just waddle around the map, basically being immortal. Because nothing kills it. Never mind the fact that if you do go into swamps, there's probably going to be an adult STEGO there as well, because it is a migration zone, so there will be adults there as well. And then the juvies just get a safe pass into adulthood, and you can't really get them. You can, though. Obviously. But the point I'm trying to make here is just that if all of the carnivores are here, because they can eat each other, and all of the herbivores are down here, why don't the carnivores just go here? I don't know. I don't know. Because it takes effort. It takes map knowledge. It requires them to actually ambush the motherfuckers when they get here. It requires them to actually know how to navigate around swamp. For example, if you were crossing through the watery bits of swamps to the bits of land to get a STEGO, maybe here, you don't want to be seen, you'd have to know that if you swim slower, you make less noise. So you could swim around like this, and swim around like that, and then get to the STEGO. But no, we can't do that, because Northeast Plains is much easier. Second of all, AI. It is easier to find AI in plains. Very, very simple. I don't really care about this, simply because I can hear AI in a jungle and pinpoint where it is, because I have surround sound headphones. So I guess that's just a skill issue or a monetary issue on people who don't have surround sound headphones. But I do appreciate that people may not have surround sound headphones, and so therefore they will not be able to find the AI. So that is a bit annoying, right? I perfectly get that. Second reason, another reason why Northeast Plains is really popular is because of the fact that as a juvie, I will admit it myself, I do like areas like this when it's very, very populated by carnivores and herbivores. The simple reason is because I sometimes like to scavenge with Raptor. I like to grow entire carnivores just off of scavenging. I will play very, very efficiently to try and catch food and get bits of food and organs when people are fighting other people and they are distracted, as well as trying to weaken their juvies or even kill their juvies while the adults are not paying attention. This can actually be very, very useful during a fight. But if a group of Carnos is fighting a group of Cerados and there is a Carno juvie, they cannot protect that Carno juvie from the Cerados and the little sub-raptor that just keeps nipping it every 5 seconds. Ta-da! So those are the main reasons. Another reason as well is because just dinos like to go there for some bizarre reason. All of the big places like this that have been hotspots recently in the game are also places where dinos are very, very good at. I've never known why people just don't go to safe drinking spots like here. It's a pretty safe drinking spot. I never really see dinos here. Ever. Well, I do actually. They actually somehow get to South Plains. They do an entire track from here down to here and then go across there. You know, it's a trek though. You have to be as a juvie here to then get here and do here and then go here. And you'll often hear juvies in the forest, right? Because they just keep on calling for whatever reason. Don't know why. This is also here. A very, very safe lake you can go to. A very, very safe lake that you can go to. There's another very, very safe lake over here as well. There is a safe lake actually right here. Dinos would have to walk up here to get here, but it's relatively safe. The area right here is actually very, very safe for you as well. Because adult dinos have to swim down the lake and then get around and down, and to get back up again, they have to go all the way around and then back up here. Over here as well, another safe lake, but juvie dinos can get there. With the fact that juvie dinos are changing their spawn, they'll be spawning here. So if this place becomes a hotspot, then we basically know for sure that there is something in, like a Russian kill code, in these players that tells them, wherever the dinos are, I have to be. One reason for this that people said is because there may have been a weight spawning for AI, in which more AI spawns, the heavier you are. The best I ever understood it was just that the more players there are, the more AI there is. So, right? So I don't really think them changing the spawn point from here off into the forest is really going to change much. As of course the forest I mean is down this one, which maybe might, who knows. Point is, Northeast Plains is there, all of the herbivores down here. That is an issue with STEGO. Right? It is part of the STEGO problem. As I said, the STEGO problem encompasses a lot of different topics in the game. Because now imagine, for example, that when Rex comes out, all of the Rexes decide to grow here. They just grow there, for whatever reason. It's plains, it has safe water. It's the exact same thing as this. Plains, safe water, even safer water, actually, than this. But no one ever goes here. Ever. It also has very, very quick access to highlands, which is something that me and my friends will often grow in South Plains. Yes, I've said it. We grow in South Plains. So if you want to go kill us, that is where we normally are. The reason why we go to South Plains is because South Plains has easy access to swamp. It has easy access to highlands. It has easy access to, I forget what this is called. I just call it safe pond or just safe lake. And it's pretty useful like that. That's the reason why we go here. It has access to this and it keeps us on this part of the map. Simply because we actually want to use this part of the map because we know that everyone is over here. If everyone over here now all of a sudden went over here, we would probably move over here. Or maybe even just over here. This here is the backup spot. The backup spot. The day that all of this part of the map gets infested with people, I am moving over here. And you'll never ever find me ever again. So, that's the main STEGO thing here. Now we have the fact of stegos migrating. They will migrate in groups, obviously, because it's very, very easy for stegos to group. You would think that the apex herbivore, being a long growth, you would have less of them, right? That is the argument that people make as towards apexes should be ridiculously strong and only be killed by other apexes or big mid-tier dinosaurs, right? We're talking about like, not maybe like allos, bigger mid-tiers than allos. I don't know the roster off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. The argument for this is the fact that, it takes so long to grow the apex and you're always so small and you could just be killed at any moment before you reach an adult. That doesn't happen. I've counted 9 stegos in swamps once, all migrating. And they go, they go all the way over here, and they go all the way over here, and bang into here. Even though it's actually easier for them to travel here, and then up through there. But who cares? Point is, they can always do that. So, on their migration, because there are so many of them, you can't really attack them. Because they will just stop, deal with you, and then just keep moving. Or just put the juvies in the middle and just keep walking. So you can't really get them unless you ambush them. And your ambushes for all of the dinosaurs in the game don't really deal with them. Maybe Kano can actually snag a juvie on the way and then just run off. But I'm fairly sure they changed it so that when you charge, bodies don't automatically go into your mouth. They instead just fall on the floor. And the Stegos could camp it if they really wanted to. In fact, recently, two of my friends, Bucket Dally and Trunk Boy, witnessed a whole gang of Tennos in the hold test that body camped a Tenno that died until it rotted and then moved, so that they, as playing raptors, could not eat it. Ta-da. Very, very fun. So, we now move into, we've established food, we've established food and water. We now have the lack of good, we've kind of established terrain, we now have a lack of good predators. What do I mean by this? Oh shit, that's a spoiler. Cool. In Swamp, there are no dinosaurs that really utilize Swamp that well. Kano is not really that good in Swamp. Raptor is not really that good in Swamp. Dino has a hard time really navigating Swamp usefully. Right? What do I mean by usefully? In a river, there is a very, very clear choke point. The fucking river. You are going to drink at the river. You know that they will be at the river. In Swamp, is water everywhere. And there's so much safe drinking water that dinos just can't access. Which means you could be here in the swamp, and they could be safely drinking over here. You wouldn't be able to properly navigate it efficiently. It's just a big area. You'd have to pick an area. But in the river, you could be here in the river, something is drinking up here, that is a straight line to get to them. It's not as effective. So we have two dinosaurs, one currently in the game, one that will be one they be introduced, that would be able to deal with the juvie Stegos in Swamp. One is Cerrado. Why Cerrado? Cerrado has the second fastest swim time of a terrestrial dinosaur in the game, right behind Tenno. Right? Cerrado. Which means Cerrado can effectively navigate these waters and then kill juvie Stegos. Right? You can also stop them and the sub-Stegos from gaining diet for a while, which could be very, very important later on in the game. Especially if the diet buffs you get, looking at the new hold test, you do not really want to lose those diets. If you have a Cerrado, even if it doesn't kill you, it can make you lose those diets, which could be absolutely devastating for you, where you have to wait for 5 minutes to get rid of your sickness thing, and then go get diets and food. If not, you just die. So Cerrado is a very, very good counterpoint. Where do we find Cerrados? Well, I often find Cerrados in South Plains. I also find them in Northeast. So we run into the exact same problem. Everyone's here. Some people are here recently. Mainly because Dundee mentioned in the stream saying that lots of players are growing here. He was probably referring to us. And my friends. And the people that I told about this. The other good contender is Suko. Suko is your, river monster. It should do well in swamps. Right? If they just have big fish swimming around swamps, that would solve the problem. Big fish. Suko is there. Suko sees a juvie Stego, mauls it to death, moves on with its life. And of course, the adult Stegos can defend these carnivores to protect their little juvies. So all is not lost for the juvie Stego. Now we move on to the next point, which is terrain. Here we have a raptor pouncing a Stego by a tree and right next to two bushes. The Stego, without having to do any effort on its part, can passively knock off the raptor. The raptor flips on its back. Shut up, bush. And then it gets swung at the head and dies. Right? It basically is immune to being pounced, which means you have to bite it. And the headshot to kill a Stego, currently I believe, is around 40. 40 headshots. Now, we can make this even worse for you. What we can say is this. Imagine that there are now two Stegos. Two whole Stegos. Thank you, raptor. There are now two whole Stegos by two bushes and a tree. What is the raptor meant to do? Bite them both 40 times in the head to kill them? While avoiding their tail swings? When they can body block each other? Especially as one of them could sit and the other one could protect him. So this is how this one is sitting. It's sitting with its... I've grabbed the wrong, but who cares? It's sitting by the bush, with its head in the bush and its body there, and this is looking awful. Anyone was protecting it from the outside and just walking around it so you can't get bites on it. That is an entirely reliable strategy. Let's say, for example, that you actually pounce one of the Stegos. The other Stego walks a little bit away, swings at you, and you die. So you can't really access the Stegos really. Carnos can't really do anything to adult Stegos. Serato can. Recently, me and Jay did kill a sub Stego with Seratos that had an adult protecting it. And we then went on to kill the adult Stego with the help of a random Serato. And that random Serato then killed us because apparently it is dishonorable to kill a player when they are sitting down and giving up. Which I feel strange. But apparently it's not dishonorable to kill your teammates who helped you kill that Stego because they don't align with your ideology, which I think is actually the sign of a completely rational human being, you know? I often find myself saying that if someone does not agree with my arbitrary, stupid, fucking moral decisions, that therefore I must kill them. I believe that is a perfect way to run a society, and I'm happy that that person has the right to vote. So, we continue on. Stegos can abuse the environment. Now, do I believe that this is skillful? No. Do I believe that this should stay in the game? Yes, but with an exception, and we'll get to that. Here is the exception. Here we have Raptor. Raptor could pounce from any direction possible and just finenny its way around life and just be like, and it's out, right? Just, and it's gone. Just Raptor gaming. Sick. Yeah, and you'd have your sick Raptor montage, and there'd be like some funk music playing, and every funk music, despite the fact that I love the genre, every funk song is literally just unga bunga unga bunga unga 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 bom 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 bom. That is literally every bloody funk song. Prove me wrong. So the Raptor now cannot do this. There is a 30-degree cone I've tried to visualize here, and its front and its back, where it cannot pounce from. If it pounces, it kicks and falls down. It should, in my opinion, at least kick and then kick off, right? But no, apparently you just have to die. You just die. You messed up your ability, you fucking die. Which is something that no other dinosaur really has, where they mess up their ability and they die. But you could argue that Stego is. With the current stam changes, if a Stego blows all 20 of its swings, instantly, it has no stamina. And then you just bite it to death. Despite the fact that a Stego can trade a bite, but you just go up behind the Stego and just bite it to death, and it just dies. Sick. So you could argue that, right? But I, for one, don't exactly mind this change, simply because it basically made raptors more patient with their pounces. The issue is for being more patient with your pounces is the fact that because you're more patient with your pounces and you cannot throw them out willy-nilly, or when you want to throw them out, it gives the prey item the opportunity to move to a location where you cannot pounce it anyways. Because it is so easy to counter, right? I would definitely like it if they were things that allowed you to actually change the angles of pounce for different dinosaurs. So, for example, for Stego, I would get rid of the one at its head. Keep the tail one, because yeah, sure, whatever. If I pounce directly at the Stego tail, whatever. But if I pounce its head, sure, I can pounce its head and just land there. That makes sense to me, right? And maybe for dinosaurs like Tenno, if you pounce a Tenno from the head, it's the same thing, right? Because here's the reason why pouncing from the head isn't exactly that bad of an idea to me. I'm talking about a lot of topics here. As I said, I am going to be waffling. We are currently 18 minutes into this. So the reason is because if you pounce something in the head and it bites, it will bite you in the head. If a Carno bites a raptor in the head, which is one, I think it's actually a base or tail shot. I think a base or tail shot from the Carno will kill you, which often happened, in which before on Spiro, you would pounce a Carno, it would turn, bite you in the head, and when you dismounted, it would run and then bite you in the tail, and you would die. Very, very simple, right? But of course, we need more skill for Raptor Pounce. What I would prefer instead for Raptor Pounce would be the idea of actually having to pounce from further away. Right now, you can be right next to the Stego and just pounce on and you latch on. I do not like this. I do not like this. I would rather that actually then just be transposed to a kick that pushes you back. And it pushes you back the distance you would have to be to pounce, which would still be within the Stego's tail swing range. What that means is that let's just add that. Let's add a squiggly line. Right, this is a rough idea of the Stego's swing range, right? If I enter the Stego swing range with my Raptor, that is the distance I need to pounce it. Right? Boom. Boom. Pounce. Right? I need to be going in and I can just pounce. If I crouch, believe it or not, people don't know this. If you crouch as a Raptor, your pounce distance actually increases. So I could be crouching here and actually land the pounce there. Very, very cool. And maybe if you're running, you can just do it from, if you're running, you just do it from just outside. Bang, run, bang, in there. You know what I mean? It's very, very useful. This actually then gives dinosaurs the time to not be restricted by these parameters here, but actually what they have is the time and the reactions to turn and bite the raptor. I would much prefer that, because I have fought many, many dinosaurs that do not even have the reaction speed to bite me when I'm pouncing them, but they simply luckily managed to turn slightly my direction, which turned my pounce on their legs into a pounce on their neck. And so therefore I died, or a pounce on their legs to a pounce on their tail. Just through luck. They didn't bite me, they didn't react. In fact, sometimes I've actually pounced directly into things' heads just to get the kick damage off, because it was just easier to get the kick on the head, especially against Carnos. It's just easier for me just to pounce the car on the head, get off and run away, just for that, bleed headshot. And they don't even bite. I would much prefer that to be the solution. There is a range around the dinosaur where you have to be, and you run into it and bang, pounce. I'd much prefer that. Because that would at least put a bit more skill and a bit more effort on the raptor and gives counterplay to the opponent. We look at this example here. What is the counterplay to a dinosaur camping trees and bushes against raptors? In fact, actually, this will work against Cerados and stuff, because you cannot attack the Stego from all sides. You can only attack it from these angles here. Stop grabbing bush. Sorry, yeah, you can only attack them from like these angles here, which actually then limits the amount of places that the Stego needs to swing. Never mind the fact if the Stego just puts its head into the tree, to hide its head, and then just swings side to side. You don't really have an angle of attack. The only angle of attack is to actually go through its tail. Is that skillful? No. In the same way that pouncing from any direction isn't exactly skillful. And I agree. It's not very, very skillful. It's very, very annoying. Does it offer any counterplay? No. It doesn't offer any counterplay. Now, you could make the argument, as I said back here, that if Stego was really, really difficult to grow, then it's worth it. Stego's really difficult to grow, guys, but it's not. It's not. Sub-Stego is able to hold its own against Cerado. It's able to hold its own against Carno. It's able to hold its own against Raptors. Believe it or not, it actually is. In fact, I have had an instance as a fresh-born Juvie Stego where an adult Dilo was trying to kill me, and I headshotted it twice, and I killed it. As a fresh-born Stego against an adult Dilo, I headshotted it twice. No, I disagree. Its growth time as well, currently in the Horde test, is 4 hours. But this could just be because the devs have just messed up some of the growth time, some of the dinosaurs. But I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Because technically, in theory, Stego's growth time should be way longer. Because currently, the way that it's working is that it was the current growth time with 100% diet buff is your maximum growth time without diets. So just the starting hacks from the old branch. So Tenno's old growth time was 3 hours. With the 50% growth buff, it went down to 2 hours. But now with the 100% growth buff, it is 3 hours. And without it, it's going to be 6 hours. So Stego, therefore, should be a 12-hour grow without diets and a 6-hour grow with diets. It still doesn't really matter, because they can just camp around here in all these safe little places without predators that can actually hunt them. Never mind the fact that the adult Stego is going to be protecting them. So, what is the solution to that problem? Well, we have... Oh, I'm ruining everything. You know what, I'm just going to do it this way. We have this example here, which will be, instead of environmental obstacles instantly making raptors dismount them, instead what happens with Raptor, for example, is that you actually need to be running into these objects. Not walking, but running into these objects. Right? Because, for example, you could buck and get the raptor off. But for dinosaurs like Stego, we will get to this when I talk about Raptor, it is not the best option to really buck raptors, especially if it's only one. So what you could do instead is, if you are close to obstacles like a tree or bush, you could run into it and the raptor gets off. Instead of taking the 42-second bleed, or with bucking, the 24-second bleed, it's 24 seconds to buck off a raptor. That is 24 seconds of bleed. Instead of what you have is maybe 5 seconds of bleed. As a Stego. Okay, as a Stego. I am now preparing to be the Stego. You could make the argument of, well, it's not fair that when I get attacked, I have no counterplay to stop their bleed. But you did stop their bleed. You stopped the biggest bleed, right? That is the idea of choices in games. take a fighting game, for example. You could, for example, be in a situation in a fighting game where you have to take a light attack, a heavy attack, a punish, right? You do not want to be punished in a fighting game because it's very, very bad for you. So what you could do is put yourself in a situation where the opponent has to read your attack as a punish and punish you, but you could make them only be able to jab. You still got jabbed, but you didn't get punished. Do you see what I mean? You'd rather take the jab than the punish, because at least with the jab, you are still in the game, you are still fighting, you can still make a comeback, right? If you take this example here, with this stuff, I've had many, many instances with my friends where we have pounced a stego like here or here, we fall down and we get swung and we die. I got punished, right? I could say as a raptor, it's just not fair as a raptor that I pounced a stego and I didn't get any reward for it. You see, it's the exact same fucking argument. With this, both sides have counterplay to the other, but this guy's counterplay is not just standing there ominously, right? You get onto the bush, do this. How can we do this against Cerados? Well, putting your tree into the object there, you could make collision for dinosaurs' heads better, where they can't put their tree in the object, right? You still wouldn't really be able to snipe the stego's head, unfortunately, right? But in the future, we may get dinosaurs that are able to better use their speed. For example, Dilo already shows it. There are many run-ins that Dilo can do that Raptor can't do. Simply because the Dilo is just a tiny bit faster than the Raptor, that when a Raptor would do a run-in on the tail and get out, it would be in swing range, either for the body or for the tip of tail. But for the Dilo, it is the tail or a miss. Just because of that tiny bit of speed. You know? Cerado doesn't really have the speed, but it does have the agility. Plus, I don't really want to encourage Cerados to be hunting stegos because it genuinely doesn't work out too well for you. But maybe it does. I'll have to actually experiment with that because we have been seeing a bit of luck with Cerado recently, simply due to the stamina changes. Because in case you don't know, vomiting does actually affect your stamina as well. So that's cool. It mainly affects the maximum stamina that you can reach. So you could actually, in theory, make someone only be able to recover up to 30% of their stamina, which for a stego is 10 swings. So we're continuing on with this. We have the example of rocks. Here is a rock. Aha, rock. Here are 4 raptors. These are me and my friends. This one is me, this one is Jay, this one is like Duckety, this one is like Nick Boy or something. I don't know, like, who cares? Point is, 4 raptors. If we approach this stego on the rock, we will fucking die. In fact, if we pounce this stego, this is a pouncing raptor, the stego turns its body towards the edge of the rock, we dismount and we die. Or we break our legs. But in most cases, you just fucking die. Now, as I said before, is this good game design? Now, you could look at this example and be like, wah, wah, wah. Oh shit, the fuck was that? I just made a weird fucking noise. That's gonna be a blooper at the end of the video. You could just be like, wah, wah, wah. The raptor main is angry that he can't kill a stego because he went on a rock. Maybe learn to play raptor better. Maybe play better so the stego never has a chance to get to the rock. Which, as we know, is a bullshit argument. The reason why we know it's a bullshit argument is because what the fuck am I meant to do to stop a 6-ton fucking monster from getting to a fucking rock? Like, at any moment he can stop as I'm running in and just swing. Furthermore, I cannot pounce him from the back, where I am chasing him. I cannot pounce him from the front, by getting ahead of him. I had to pounce him from the side. So this is already a bullshit argument. Never mind the fact that the stego can actually tank the bleed, and then just get to the rock. And then just accept the bleed, and be like, cool, when you dismount, you are dead. That is now 3 raptors instead of 4. The reason why I use 4 raptors is because, as I said before, to buck a single raptor off of you takes 24% stam. To buck 4 raptors off of you will take just about 100% of your stam. You'll be left with 4% stam, which is just under a swing, right? So, have fun with that information. Pointers! I will actually concede. You are absolutely right. I am annoyed that I cannot kill the stego that so beautifully learnt how to play his dinosaur and learnt how to do excellent tail swings and tail snipes that he was able to kill all 4 of us without a single thing. Oh, by the way, no, that's not what happened. Instead of what he did, he used the rock. In the exact same way that you can be annoyed that raptors can just pounce everywhere they like, just vacuum speed like this, you can be annoyed at this. But here's a better example. Now, I'm sure some of you have looked at this image and may have thought, this stupid raptor main. And then you see this image, and you go, that's a bit fucked up. It is a bit fucked up. You see the Rex seeing 2 gigas. Fuck it. The Rex seeing 1 giga. Because why would you ever risk dying at all in this game? You know? The Rex seeing 1 giga could just fight the giga, brawl it, break its legs, and then beat the ever-loving shit out of it. The giga could also see the Rex, crouch in the bushes on the thing, ambush the Rex, apply some bleed and fuck off, and then let the Rex slowly bleed and keep it moving and be like, what a fun, engaging fight. Cool. Or B. This can happen. Let's say, for example, that gigas bleed. An idea that we've had in the group is that gigas bleed is less ticks per second, but it lasts forever until you wallow. So it would only be like a very, very small bleed. Very, very small. Like maybe 0.3 per second. Right? So it'll take a whole 3 seconds for you to lose 1% of your bleed. So let's just say, for example, it does an initial bleed of 5% to a Rex. To lose that remaining 93%, it will take about 300 seconds. 300 and something seconds. Right? Maybe let's say 330 seconds. Which when you put that into minutes is a lot of minutes. Right? It's a lot of minutes. So, you know, let's actually work that out quickly. Let's actually properly work this out. Let's say it takes us to Rex 95. We divide it by that by 0.3. 316, I was close. And we divide that by 60. That's 5 minutes. Right, cool. So you have 5 minutes to bleed out from the initial bite of the giga. Right? Would I want this ability to stack? I have no idea. I don't really care. But let's say, for example, that giga's bite is just a lot of bleed, and it functions normal bleed timers. So it goes away in 1 minute, 17 seconds. In this time, the Rex having been ambushed by the giga, you would think the giga will be rewarded for its ambush by killing the Rex. No, the Rex goes on top of a rock. And the giga now is unable to attack the Rex from any angle, despite ambushing it. Otherwise, it gets a broken fucking leg, or broken bones or anything, and gets mauled to death by the Rex. Consider that for just a moment, right? Because I know that some of you will look at this image and be like, they're tiny little raptors. But I will go on to explain in the raptor video why raptor is actually the best dinosaur currently in the game for hunting stego, and why raptor's niche might actually be to be a small tier apex killer, which will make a lot of sense when I break it down. But this here, 2 apex dinosaurs, the apex brawler, the apex bleeder. The apex brawler has to go on top of a fucking rock, and it will live. It will survive any encounter, simply because you cannot get to it. You cannot. A Rex player will never have to fear anything as long as there is a rock nearby. If you go back onto this map, there are rocks a lot of fucking places. Highlands has a bunch of rocks. Northeast actually has a bunch of rocks by the river. We have these rivers down here. There are rocks all around here. Swamp doesn't exactly have rocks, but it has trees that you can climb up. This area here, you have rocks. Never mind the fact that you can go on top of a cliff. You can go to a side of a cliff with a Rex and just camp. Do you understand what I mean? And you could be like, but we could starve out the Rex. Really? Really? That's your idea for balance changes. Your idea for the balance of the game is that if the player abuses the environment and I cannot kill him, I can starve him out to death. Wow. What a fun idea for a game that is. You know? How fun. Like, people dog on legacy combat for being really, really simple. Because you just get behind someone and just terrorite them. This is just obtuse. Never mind the fact that what the Rex can actually do is this. The Rex can stand there and actually just force log. Right, so we'll make a copy of the Rex. We'll copy the Rex. Right, I'm going to have this Rex over here. That's your actual Rex. And this Rex here will now be given a correction color. And it will be color black and white. This is your logged Rex. This giga may actually be too terrified to walk into the Rex, because the second it does, that Rex could break its bones and then kill it. It'll be too terrified. So it'll just be standing there waiting, maybe trying to bait, and in 5 minutes that Rex logs off. Amazing. You know? And maybe the giga figures it out in the last like 30 seconds and starts biting the Rex, and the Rex just disappears. Sick gameplay. Never mind the fact that the server could just crash and the Rex just doesn't log back on. Sick game. Right. Here's another example. Because there may be Rexes being like, but it's not fair that a giga can kill me because I'm a T-Rex. Cool. Have these 3 images now shutted up the people about the rock issue, have they? Potentially. You are two Rexes. There is a trike. It just horns you in the face every time you try to walk up. It kills you. What a sick game. What a cool fucking game. Yes. How cool. Amazing. Truly, this is truly the balanced decision of all time. Now, what is my solution? Is my solution saying, oh gosh, I say drop my thing? What solution am I proposing? Am I proposing a solution where dinosaurs like Raptor, Tenno, whatever, cannot go up rocks? No. I actually believe that the smaller dinosaurs, like Carno, Tenno, whatever, you know, all the dinosaurs from the small tiers to maybe like Carno size can actually go up rocks. We might have to make an exception for dinosaurs like Kentro and Dibble, simply due to the fact that they cannot jump and they do not have the stride to get up them. But I do not believe that apexes should be allowed to go up rocks like this, because it breaks the game. People may not see it right now, but trust me, I can already see this solution, this like situation, clear in my brain. I just can, right? Oh, yeah. It's very, very clear in my brain. This is what is going to happen. Trust me on this one. Right? I've made many predictions in this game. I predicted the exact Dilo nerfs in the general chat when it happened, and I was proven right like 30 minutes later. Right? We predicted a lot of things. Jay predicted the fact that Dilos will be able to hallucinate dinos when you're by water. We can make educated assumptions on what will happen in the game simply because, one, we can see the patterns, and two, we can see what the problems are. This is going to be a problem. Trust me. Now imagine instead that you are a bunch of allos trying to hunt a Rex and you're dogging the Rex. It is the worst Rex player known to mankind. It doesn't know how to alt bite, right? Which is, I think, is actually a game issue of teaching players, right? But let's say it can alt bite, but it's got really, really bad reaction speed, right? And it's just making mistakes and it's wasting all of its stam, and then it goes on top of a rock. And now you, as allo players, realize I cannot hit this Rex at all, because the second I walk up the rock, it pins and kills me. Sick game, right? Another example of dinosaurs that used a certain location to become untouchable. Port raptors. Everyone hated them. I tried to get more feedback from the R Discord about port raptors. Like, how did you feel about? Mainly, people were like, no, just no. I hated port. People didn't like port raptors because you couldn't reach them, and there'd just be one calling, and they never shut up. And whenever you encounter anyone to shoot them in the face, and Salty, who is now called Herrera, is finally good, said, I like the idea of port being a place any carnivore could go to claim as its territory. Only those who can jump could make use of the untouchable areas, which is kind of a side tangent point, but who really cares? The thing is, I never liked port, simply because raptors were able to jump up onto places and be unreachable, right? And then what would happen is that there would be so many safe ways for them to get back down that they would be able to just get back down and just run away, and you'd never be able to catch them, ever. That is not to discredit anyone who did catch a raptor. It is just that if you are playing smart with a raptor and you see the Rex camping right here, why would I ever jump down here when I could just climb around somewhere else and then use this barrier to escape that way? You know what I mean? Like, just a smart raptor is never going to get caught in that situation. Now we have the whole list of things, you know, that make the STEGO problem the issue that it is. It is the fact that it is ridiculously easy to grow. The fact that when you grow it, it is ridiculously easy to maintain. The fact that when you maintain it, it is ridiculously easy to escape any predators that could kill you with minimal effort and minimal skill at all, right? We have done tests, and there will be a video coming out where we tested with the best STEGO player that we know. And basically, if a STEGO uses the environment, it is guaranteed to win. You cannot kill it. If, however, a STEGO is in an open area, we did this fight in the beach area. I think it was over here. The beach area over here. And we told them, not using any environment, it's just you versus us. 3 raptors could actually kill a STEGO with a lot of coordination in VC, and never mind. And with very, very intimate knowledge of the STEGO stamina and trying to predict how much stamina the STEGO has. A group of randoms might not be able to achieve this. Never mind the fact that server delay and ping might cause you to be sniped in the face. Never mind the fact that that STEGO player that we fought against hasn't properly played the game in about 2 months. And when they were playing the game before, religiously, and maining Stego, like the twat that they are, right? They were able to snipe you mid-pounce consistently. Consistently, right? They weren't going for that many snipes during here because they were rusty. The fact of the matter is that I know for a fact that Stegos can snipe you mid-pounce. In fact, I am advocating for a change that would allow Stegos to snipe you mid-pounce, meaning that you'd have to have a Raptor to bait the swing and then pounce. You bait the swing, you go back in, when it swings, bang, you're in. Right? I'm advocating for that change. The reason why I'm advocating for this change is because I know that Stego gets dogged on in an open area without planes. I would much prefer it if the fights that Raptors have against dinosaurs are fair for the Raptor and fair for the prey, in which, depending on who plays better, influence who wins. And if you can master that gameplay loop in a fight like that, fighting to be far more engaging. Never mind the fact that against dinosaurs like Tenno, I'm going to briefly touch upon it. Pretend that this is a Tenno. This is just a very, very obese Tenno. The simplest Raptor counter for Tenno is the fact that your runtime is the same as the Raptor's runtime. So what you can do with a Tenno is the second the Raptors start running towards you, is just to run. If you run all the way down to low stam, right, let's just say 25% stam, so at least you can stand and recover stamina, the Raptors will also have low stam. And then you can start walking as the Tenno. And the second that they go into fight, they will have no stam to pounce you. Basically, if they pounce you, they can only get maybe like a couple of seconds of pounce, and then they're off. You don't even need to buck. In fact, what you could do is just alt swing at them, and just keep trading alt swings, and eventually you would kill them. Never mind the fact that in those minutes of running, you could find a tree or a bush, right? It's just, as I said, the issue doesn't just affect Stego, but Stego is the biggest culprit, because it is the biggest terrestrial dinosaur we have now. Trust me, when Rex comes out, and if Rex, Trike, Shant, like imagine Shants or Camas doing this exact same thing, and just being unkillable. No one's going to like it. Never mind the fact that Stego can group up to like 4, 5 Stegos. That's insane. That is insane. Imagine coming across 5 Trikes. Right? Like just, like Tenno can group up to like 6 Tennos. A single Tenno can solo fight a good, like, I'm not a good Tenno player. Right? I'm not. I'm probably about as skilled, or maybe a bit more skilled than an average player in the Isle, but not a Tenno main. 100%, no. A Tenno main would completely decimate me, right? But I know enough about Tenno. Against a very, very good Kano, one of the better Kano players we have in my friendship group, I was able to win consistently 50% of the time, which I think is pretty consistent, against him. That's 50-50. Against a Kano who is way more skilled at Kano than I am skilled at Tenno, simply because I know the matchup and I have the knowledge of what you want to do in the matchup and of knowing what my opponent wants to do in that matchup. Just that knowledge alone, just basic game knowledge, right? I was able to get a 50% win rod. A Tenno main might be able to bump that up to like 75%. They might even be able to completely guarantee a win against a Kano. That's insane. But you can have 6 Kanos? No, you can have 6 Tennos? But 3 Kanos? What? You know, it's like, I don't know. Never mind the fact that with Raptor, you have 8 Raptors, but the second you start grouping up, the Raptors become useless. If a Raptor goes in for a pounce, you can just attack the Raptor that's being latched on. Just players are too scared to do it. Right? As a Tenno, you can just kick the Raptor off your friend. It just, I don't know. But anyways, that is the Stego issue with a bit of complaining about other topics. So, yeah. Hopefully that kind of helps. What other thoughts and ideas can I add into this? I pretty much covered everything. But that's just the main point, is that this is an issue and it does need to be fixed. Right? And we could fix it. Actually, it's a good point. What are the fixes? I've talked about fixes in fights. Well, what about fixes with other things? Like migrations. For one, you move the migration here and you put it over here. That's a simple change. Right? Stego has a migration in South Plains. Open area with a beach. Right? To get into the forest of South Plains, you have to go all the way over here. But if all of the food is spawning here and here, you are more likely going to be around this small area around here. Another place you could put a Stego migration would be maybe around, maybe not Delta, but you could just do Delta. Maybe even at the top of the map here. Yeah? Safe water. Who cares? but open area. It's got a forest towards the top, but if most of the food is around here, you're going to be there. You know, even northeast was a decent migration spot for Stego. Right? It's just the cliffs were an issue. See, I don't mind people really using cliffs in fights, simply because you've already backed them into a corner. Right? It's just, it's annoying. But climbing to a rock, there is nothing that you can do about that. At least for cliff, you can actually get close to them, at least, you know, and maybe do something. Here as well, a pretty good spot for Stegos to migrate. Right? It's got very, very thin forests and thicker forests elsewhere. So that's the idea with migrations. Right? You could also affect the growth time. You know, currently 4 hours for a Stego in the Horde test is ridiculously fast. I do not want that. Right? I do not mind the growth changes in the Horde test simply because I get to enjoy the differences that gameplay provides me in fights as a juvie and a sub. Not many people realize this, but actually, a lot of the strategies that you can do as a juvie and sub are completely different until you hit adult. For example, sub Carno can actually charge for longer than an adult Carno, and it moves faster, which means that sub Carno is actually better at ambushing things like raptors than adult Carno is. But you didn't know that. How many people knew that sub Tenno is ridiculously fast? In fact, sub Tenno runs about as fast as a raptor. Yes, believe it or not. It has like a 47km/h run, and it has pretty damn good stamina, which means you can actually play a very, very quick gameplay with Tenno and actually go in very, very quickly and kick people and knock them down. How many people knew that? Not many people. How many people know that sub Stego is actually ridiculously fast and has ridiculously good stamina efficiency when it is running? Not many people, right? Sub Cerrado, unfortunately, doesn't really have much going for it, but who cares? You know, but all of these sub dinosaurs have things about them that I think are interesting and actually change fights. You know, sub Raptor has a very, very good run and trot, but its pounce is weaker. But what you can do is actually run to distractions for the adults and actually try and get a few bites. Your job effectively is, while the Raptors are doing very, very heavy bleed, you can do very, very small bleeds to ensure that the target keeps bleeding and doesn't start healing its bleed, right? So after the heavy bleeds have run out after a minute 17, because you are faster, as I said before, Dalo can do run-ins that Raptor can't, because they're slightly faster. So you have a slightly faster Raptor at your disposal. Do those run-ins. It is very, very good. When the adult is paying attention to the adult Raptors and trying to swing at them, going for the headshot. Boom, bang, look at that. That's still decent bleed. You know, I don't mind it. It's just the fact that the players have this mentality of, I cannot, that's what it is I cannot win fights unless I am an adult. Right? It's not always about winning the fight. It's always sometimes actually about being able to get away from a fight. You know, sub Tenno is ridiculously good at getting away from fights, getting away from danger. Ridiculously good at it. It's amazing at it. Probably one of the best dinosaurs for it, really. You know, of the bigger dinosaurs, obviously dinosaurs like Gali and Dryo are built to get away from fights. You know, it's just, there's just always stuff like that. You know, like an idea that me and Jay had, or me and Jay were discussing, it's mainly Jay's idea, to be honest, so I'm not going to take credit for it at all, is to make the apex growth times about 12 hours. Now, I know what you're saying. A 12-hour growth time? You're saying that without diets, it takes me 24 hours to grow my dinosaur? Yes. But here's what we do. We make the stages of growth very, very different from each other. Right? You completely change it. You completely change how the game wants you to play based on your food. Right? So for example, a juvie Stego could actually be relatively light on its feet. It might be able to walk up like small trees and have more dynamic environment. It can fit into spaces that adult Stegos can't. You know, and get into places where like mushrooms are growing in the dark and stuff like that, or like underneath fallen trees. So stuff like that. It makes it different. And then when you hit into sub, you also have a very, very different playstyle. You're not exactly grazing through fields yet, but you're more attuned to going into forests. In fact, I actually wouldn't mind if the migration zones for adults and subs were different. I really wouldn't mind. You know, in which the adult Stegos are going into, especially for Apex, not for like Tennos and Packies, but especially for Apex herbivores, I wouldn't mind if the adult and sub migrations are different. So while the adults are being sent to plains to basically be cows and graze here, the subs are being sent to somewhere like Delta, you could actually make something very, very interesting where a sub-stego is actually faster in water than an adult stego. And so stego could be this dinosaur. Sub-stegos could actually then at that point actually now be in swamps. I'm fine with that. A sub-stego in swamp, then when it starts hitting adult, it has to go towards the plains areas. I could live with that. It could be faster in water than the adult. It can exploit that change in its stats. You know? And, you know, it just do stuff. Like, let's take Rex, for example. Right? You can have a Rex. Let's take our Rex over here. Let me paste that. In case you guys couldn't notice, I actually really like this game. I think it has a lot of potential. We're just going to delete everyone here. You can just be moved to the side. Right, we can have Rex. So, adult Rex, looking at what Rex does, we can now talk about what is Rex niches. Well, Rex niche is the fact that if it gets you, you cannot run away. So therefore, it wants to get to you before you see it. So I can probably predict that Rexes are going to like choke points. This bridge here is the bridge that leads South Plains into Highlands without having to go all the way around here. I can predict that we will have Rexes at this choke point in the bushes. We might also get Rexes at choke points like here, this bridge here. We might get Rexes at choke points towards River Delta. You get Rexes at choke points trying to get in and out of Highlands. Maybe even the canyon in Highlands, just here. We could get Rexes. I can see that being a very, very better thing for Rexes. Never mind the place and swamp over here. Right here. Is it right here? I think it's just about right here, where you have the tunnel that connects that. I can definitely see Rexes around human facilities, exploiting the tunnels that players will use to get from one place to another place. Simply because the Rex knows that as long as if I ambush you and break you, I can just maul you to death. Well done, Rex. You are playing smart. I do not want to see Rexes being in, like South Plains in the field and just, let's downsize you, maybe a bit more, and just running around the field, chasing things and killing them. Because then what's the point of your entire ability? You know, like, I don't know, it's just a bit silly to me. What you can do is this. 12-hour Rex go. The first 3 hours, you are a juvie, and you are growing from a small little juvie to a big juvie. Big boy. Maybe even like, maybe say like 12 hours, it's a 9-hour grow. I can live with 9-hour grow. I think that's the lowest I'm willing to compensate for Apexes, a 9-hour grow. The first 3 hours as a juvie, what happens? Well, with a juvie Rex, you are small, you are light-footed, like the juvie stego, and maybe you can have some pretty insane stamina. And what you could be is a little bully, right? You're a little runt. Runt? A little, like, runt. You know, a runt, like the runt of the litter. But also, just a tight runt. A tyrannical runt of the litter. You know, you are this small little dude who is just going around, just bullying anything that you can, right? Any other juvie that is growing around you, you just kill him dead. Oh, get him, right? You have a weaker version. You still have your pin, but you're not doing bone break. You're just doing damage at the moment. You're just damaging things down, killing them, right? You maybe have the ability to hunt after, you know, certain AI straight from the beginning of your growth. What you're very, very good at is being in forests. You are already learning that forests are a good place for you to hide, but it's also a good place for you to basically sneak around and maybe try and catch juvies. As you reach to sub, this is when you're in the plains. You have 3 hours of sub, and you could just say, well, why wouldn't I just play Alberto? If I'm going to spend 3 hours as a sub Rex, I could have just grown an Alberto in that time. More simple. That's the reason why. Say, for example, you have a 6-hour Rex grow, and you go, I actually really, really liked the beginning of Rex growth. Well, I guarantee you, there is going to be a dinosaur that actually fits that playstyle. You know, a dinosaur that likes living around forests and enclosed areas, picking things off, right? There will be a dinosaur that leans into that gameplay. You could argue Kano is a bit like that, but that's more of a plains hunter. But there will be dinosaurs that, you know, have that gameplay. Like maybe a juvie Rex, once it starts to get into its end of its juvie growth, is looking a bit more like a Serrado, you know, a big brawler that's decently fast and has pretty good mobility. Like, and you may be like, I'm just play Serrado. Completely different ability, but it's a cool match. I like the movement. It was cool. Then you get the sub. You're in the plains. You are athletic. You know, you haven't exactly got the endless, boundless stamina of your juvie phase, but you are faster and, you know, you are much stronger. So now that's when you're going to want to be in planes. You're going to be stalking around planes, looking around the outside and charging in and mauling things to death. You play differently. You're more active. You are better able to actually chase down players after you have like injured them a lot. You know, you might not have bone break yet, but maybe you have, you know, just the decent stamina to be able to chase things down after ambushing it. I've always liked the idea of a winded mechanic, a mechanic where certain attacks cause you to be winded and increase your stamina consumption, similar to a body fracture with Tenno. Like maybe even let that be a thing. Maybe make it so that the juvie, I would actually quite like it if Rex's bone break doesn't break your legs, but breaks your body. So you have an opportunity to try and run away, but the Rex is just going to get you, right? But for the sub and the juvie especially, that's very, very important, because even a juvie and a sub with that stamina restriction is still able to do stuff. But what it also means, especially for the adult Apex, is that Apex's abilities will probably cost stamina, which means if they have a broken body, they will have less stamina to use those abilities, right? So it basically means that Rex forces you to brawl, because if you run away, you won't have the stamina to fight. So you have to stand and fight. I like that. Instead of a broken leg, which is, I'm dead. I have a broken leg. I can't do anything. I just die. You know, a Stego can still swing with a broken body, I'm fairly sure. But I don't think he can do it with a broken leg. You know? But right there, we have differences between the juvie, sub, and adult stage of the dinosaur that makes them different. And might even make it so that if you want to play Rex, you might play like Raptor first, but not really use Pounce, just use Bite. And then you might learn to play Cerrado. Then after that, you might make the jump to like Aloe or Alberto, and you learn how to play those dinosaurs. So that when you grow your Rex, you already have the knowledge beforehand of how each stage is going to behave. So you are already prepared to actually enjoy that growth to its fullest. You get to enjoy the feeling of growing into your power. I've always liked that idea in this game, especially with Raptor, of growing into my power. I will spawn in as a Raptor, I will struggle to kill a Juvie Kano, but if I can get my perfect diet, I'll be growing faster than that Juvie Kano. I have more effective stat growth than that Juvie Kano does. Right? I will eventually actually be able to just kill him with the bleed, just by pouncing him. Then when he gets to adult, he is now stronger than me. I need teammates to really gang up on him, unless he's like a really, really bad Kano. But you know what I mean? The idea of growing into your strength, I like that. I do not like the idea of, I spawned here, I grew here, I AFK'd, I am now stronger than you, and I can abuse the environment, and abuse things that just don't take skill to beat you. I think that is the core of the STEGO problem. But anyway, this recording's been going on too long, and I'm running out of things to say, so peace out.